So I stopped using voice meter because apparently voice meter has a soft trial period, and after said period, what happens is it'll start nagging you for uh, to register. Not even give money, just register. And you can tell it to fuck off, but in like 5 or 6 hours, it will nag you again. And here's the kicker: the nag notification turns off your audio until you acknowledge it, and that is some grade A horse shit. Audio WinRAR. So I said the hell with voice meter. It was quite an ordeal to uninstall. Thankfully, I have a program called Revo Uninstaller. There's a bunch of different uninstallers, but pretty much you have to like super remove everything to get rid of voice meter aux cable, another setting I forget. There was like three or four things I had to uninstall and reboot each time for the uninstallation to stick. So fuck voice meter, and you know, uh, the voice meter is dead. Long live fucking Steel Series GG Sonar. Holy shit. Like, I was just, I literally just YouTubed up voice meter alternatives, and this here flooded the search results, and I can understand why, because holy shit, this is literally streaming audio one stop shop program. The one little kink with it is that to actually use Sonar, you have to make an account with the Steel Series, which is not that bad because I make burner accounts for email burner accounts for everything, and I just slap it all in my password database, so it's not that big of a deal. You know, like a 1 minute setup. So that's not exactly a deal breaker for dealing with this level of oh my god, this is so fucking convenient. But okay, yeah. So how do I sound and how is my volume? These are two different questions. How do I sound and how is my volume? Before you hop in the call, Mr. Hog Cranker Extraordinaire. Or Pipkin if you're around, because okay. Volume seems reasonable. Now, reasonable as in good or reasonable, or can I bump myself up? Because my oh, hey, Slipma. Okay. So volume okay. Because let's see, open up my Steel Series master thing. Okay, so my microphone is at 50% right now. Uh, all the output currently right now for all the inputs, audio inputs, the output to stream is 100%, but my input for my microphone is 50 right now. And see, I don't have to change my speakers to hear you comfortably. This is good. This is good. So here's the funny thing. I don't have the equalizer any defaults turned on. This is just vanilla. Uh, I posted in Proctor's no, there you are. Okay, so I posted in Proc holy shit, you're huge. I'm gonna fix that in a second. I gotta finish my thought. So I posted in Proctor's resource channel uh, the YouTube video I used to get this set up, and it works just fine. So I honestly all I have is AI noise cancellation and the automatic noise gate, and from my Audacity testing in Audacity and OBS recordings, it seemed to work fine. So I'm kind of happy with it right now. Now it's just fine tuning. So Porean, why is picture so big? Why is picture so big? I don't see you
I don't
talking
know.
either, but oh, there you are.
Mm. Am I coming through fine for you?
I hear you fine in Discord.
Okay.
So that should translate to fine on stream. Question mark? Sigma? Can we get feedback? Does Porean sound fine? Actually, I should probably fix. Let's see. Reactive group. Eh, that's fitting fine. Huh. Okay, something has to give. Do I want to change my ratio for the group chat? Or do I want to make the window smaller? I thought everything fit just fine.
I mean,
Window
we do
capture.
this thing. We do this every time I'm on. I'm always, I always enter too big.
Well, no, it's not you. Is that I have like all my different elements kind of just laid out fine, so there's no overlap. But I just noticed that there is an overlap between my bottom elements and my upper elements. Like my window capture and then us.
Hmm.
So you know what? This works fine. I can actually make myself bigger now, and we'll just don't really care about the cutting into it. Whatever. Getting the gist across. This is fine. This is fine. So how are you doing?
No, feeling feeling pretty fine. I'm a little, I'm a little hoarse. My voice is a little hoarse.
Yeah, I've been hacking up a lung today, and I've been just kind of like bleh. So I feel you.
Yeah, yeah. I haven't recovered since Christmas, and tomorrow is New Year's, so I won't be able to recover.
Yeah, all the hardcore Swedish Christmas drinking, and now it's gonna be hardcore Swedish New Year's drinking.
Yeah, it's a bit much to have one week between, and like I have to be busy every day. What did do they have a name for like the week between Christmas and New Year's?
I want to agree because I swear I've heard this before, but if it does exist, the actual title eludes me.
Yeah, because we just call it the between week because it is like right between, like right between Christmas and then New Year, then the New Year. So we have like know you do Boxing Day, right? For like sales and stuff. I think you do it, and the Commonwealth does it or whatever. And we do like 1 week of sales. That's like our Black Friday is right after Christmas, so it's like everything is so fucking stressful this goddamn week.
Well, it's the holidays. The holidays have always been stressful. That's why I've never, as far as the winter solstice, no matter how it's celebrated and stuff, this is not my time of year. My time of year is Halloween.
Yeah, same.
That's always good. I don't know if it's like an internet thing or an artist thing or just like us thing, but like everyone I talk to is like, yeah, Christmas, whatever stuff, but Halloween, oh yeah, that's the jam. For like like my circle of friends and like both offline and online stuff, that seems to be the common consensus. It's like, but then Halloween's like, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it's like you're not really on vacation when it's a holiday because you have to plan everything. You have to buy gifts. You have to meet all your relatives. You might not want to meet all of them. You have to meet a bunch of friends. You might not want to meet all of them. Like Halloween is a voluntary holiday. Christmas is mandatory. You're forced into Christmas. You can't avoid Christmas. It's impossible.
exactly. I don't know, like I remember my mom. She was always like, It's like, oh, you're gonna come home for Christmas for vacation? It's like, Ma, if I come home for Christmas, it's not gonna be for vacation. You know, like every time I would go back out east to visit friends and family and stuff, it's more like social obligations and not for rest.
Yeah, well, I don't really have an excuse since I could conceivably walk to my parents in about 5 hours. So, I can't really I can't really make excuses.
Yeah, I'm thankful my excuse is I'm like a literal a 2 day drive away from like it's like family on East Coast, me in middle. And Canada is the second biggest country in the world, so that actually does add up.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty like distance-wise, it's like that's like one of the things like Americans often do when they go like, "Oh, you can oh, Europeans don't know how it is to travel far," and that's sort of real is true because an hour's drive is a long time here, but you might have to go like 3 hours regularly if you're in such a big country.
Yeah. Uh, Actually, random thought since I saw Pipkin still hasn't either cracked the code to get back into Odyssey or to make a new account for Odyssey. Uh, so we were talking about my trials and tribulations of baking my oat bread. So I mentioned it before. The the Burr Mill coffee grinder experiment was an abject failure because literally it would do like 1 tablespoon worth of oats and then the flour would jam, like it would static electricity clump together in the burrs and also the chute. So it was like, what the fucking point?
Yeah, I would have thought it could take that.
I
Since it grinds coffee beans, and coffee beans are hard as hell.
Well, here's the thing. I think that's probably because coffee beans are like big and squishy and kind of stuff, but like the oats are like dry and staticky. It's like
Mm.
straight flour as opposed to like, I don't know, kind of somewhat greasy. Because I've grinded coffee beans before and it's kind of mushy and not like powder.
Yeah, it depends. Really
Yeah,
depends. But yeah, yeah, they're I mean, of course they're more oily than an oat is. If you're eating oily oats, well, you should probably
yeah,
buy them somewhere else.
yeah. So I don't know. I've dealt with the fineness of the oat flour problem by literally just running the blender per cup like a couple more minutes than I used to. So, like from what little oat flour I managed to get out of the burr mill and stuff. I compared both consistencies, between the blender and that, and it was literally comparable. So I was just like, well, this was a the only thing I got from all of this here was just the knowledge of like, okay, now I know never to do this again.
Yeah, I remember when you had that stream where you talked about buying an oatmeal grinder. So I got curious and I was like, okay. I never thought that I never thought of an oatmeal grinder as a separate kitchen utility. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna check out oatmeal grinders. And first off, pretty much impossible to buy. I found like two specialty oatmeal grinding
Well,
companies who made their own, and they were like $450 a piece.
yeah, I wasn't looking specifically for oatmeal. I was just looking for a generic electric grain grinder. And yeah, I found the same results, and it was like $500-600 a pop. I was like, no, I'm not paying that.
Never thought oatmeal was an artisanal culinary experience, but I suppose it is.
Well, I know, like I even in my grocery store, Quaker Oats does have a dedicated oatmeal flour bag, but like compared to like the regular like wheat flour and stuff, like the bag of oatmeal flour is like tiny and expensive. So of course I'm just like fuck that, I'm just gonna make my own. and that's what I've been doing with the blender right now. And I've made peace with that now, given the failed experiment of the actual coffee grinder experiment.
Yeah, and I've never used oatmeal meal, and I don't think you can buy it either. Actually, now that I think about it.
Well, the thing with oats, there's so many different permutations of oats. You can buy raw oats, you can buy puffed oats, you can buy quick dry oats. Well, oatmeal, like oatmeal oats, which is quick instant oats. What I have is rolled oats, so dried, flattened, rolled oats. So like little flakes. That's what I have. Like big 2.2 kilogram bags of like rolled oats.
Yeah, I think that's the standard here. I don't really I don't know all the nuances of oat varieties, but I think rolled oats is the only thing I've eaten.
Well, I've become a little expert over the last decade or so because my IBS food intolerances have gotten worse with age, and recently I've made peace with the fact I can't have gluten anymore, so I'm all in on the oat train because that's literally my only other option would be like rice, flour kind of
Yeah.
stuff. Like nah, I'm more of an oat guy.
Do you get like the shitty IBS where you can't eat like not you're not like lactose intolerant per
Actually,
se, but they're
well,
like too fatty, or are you?
well, I've always been lactose intolerant, but I think it's less lactose intolerance in and of itself but more as an offshoot of the IBS. And I've come to this conclusion because I have developed further intolerances as I got older. Like the lactose was day one. That's been since day one. But uh, in my 30s, I've developed I forget what the protein is, but the corn one, the corn protein, so I can't have corn anymore, and the gluten, so the wheat. I can tolerate a bit of wheat, but if I go overboard, then the problems start kicking in. But I have a zero tolerance now for corn. Corn's like automatic DEFCON 1. I cannot.
Yeah, you couldn't eat the chips,
I
crisps.
hate I really fucking hate the chip thing because the store brand chips I can get at the store, it's like $10 for like two giant fuck off, I mean like really huge bag of plain ruffled chips. But the problem is it's look at the ingredients, it's like either or sunflower oil, either or canola oil, or either or vegetable oil, vegetable meaning corn. So I have a 1 in 3 chance of getting the unpleasant treatment. So it's like rolling the dice if I want to buy those chips.
Since you can eat oats, do you have the Oatly brand in Canada?
It does ring a bell, but I don't think I've ever seen it myself.
Because they make ice cream out of oats.
Yes, I've heard of this. No, I've slowly come to appreciate all the different varieties of foods made with oats. Like my one pleasant surprise when I figured out that I was gluten intolerant is that Cheerios are made of oats. I did not clue in on this until I actually read the package. I'm like, oh, thank God, because plain Cheerios, dried Cheerios, just like in like a water bottle, like just dry Cheerios, and that's my go-to like daily snack. And I would probably neck myself if I had to get rid of that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm so lucky I have no diseases, no intolerances. I can eat anything.
I am jealous. Well, I can. It's not going to kill me. I'm just going to be praying for death. That's the problem. Because sometimes the craving is just like, I want a pizza. I want a burger. I want the. I'm. It's like, Father, I crave the forbidden food.
Too bad. All food is forbidden.
Mm, I know. Well, my problem is right now is that I thought I was in the clear because like I'm eating right. I'm not. Well, okay, not right now. I've actually splurged on some cheesies, which is corn. So I'm suffering right now, but that's neither here nor there. But what was my train of thought? Okay, so fuck, I did lose my train of thought. Shit, where was I going with that? I want my cheesies now.
You were splurging on cheap chips. They were corn in them.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, so shit, lost again. I, I I'm tired. I'm not doing so. Oh yeah, so okay. Uh, shit, I had it. Oh my god. My, I'm okay. My bowels are most irritable the last few days. Both. Okay, no. Okay, here's my thought. So the my thought was that I thought I was in the clear because I was eating good, but I have since discovered that my IBS still will randomly trigger for no apparent reason. Just eating the forbidden food will guarantee it.
That's a lovely sword of Damocles to have hanging over your head.
Yeah, so if it like randomly happens anyway, that's why I've been kind of like more often now. I'm just like, okay, if it's going to happen anyway, I'm just like, I'm just gonna
Uh,
muscle through it and enjoy the good forbidden food if I'm just gonna be suffering anyway.
Yeah, my mom got IBS and she couldn't eat meat at all. She had to become a vegetarian, but she would like relapse into eating meat because she got so bored of eating vegetarian food. It's so fucking tiresome to do.
No, I totally agree. And when I was figuring this shit out, I had a little scare because I thought I was intolerant to meat, but then I realized, wait, it's not the meat, it's the noodles, it's the bread. It's like, oh, hallelujah, hallelujah! It's
Yeah.
just the bread.
And like every time I'm camping, I get super paranoid that I will get a tick bite, and it'll be
Lyme
that
disease.
one disease they carry that make you meat intolerant. I think I would actually kill myself if I got that because couldn't live anymore.
Yeah, like I do field mapping sometimes for work and stuff, and like I go for all the precautions of like tucking in my pants, putting DEET on my boots and pant legs and stuff, because yeah, Lyme disease is not to be fucked with, because that there is life ruining. It won't kill you, but you'll be praying for death if you ever get it.
Yeah, and like I mean, all the other stuff you can get from them as well. Uh,
Well, yeah. Well, like I'm really familiar with Lyme disease because it is a very big problem out here and also where I'm from and stuff. It's
it's
really bad.
yeah, it's like mostly a North American thing.
Yeah, and it's not even like the meat avoid. It's not even like the meat avoidance thing and stuff. It's literally chronic pain. It's
Yeah,
like chronic pain, like like fatigue, occasional nausea. It's just like your body is just like I don't want to live. This is miserable. It's like I wouldn't
I
wish
would
that.
I
I wish
would I would rather not go through life in a permanent state of hangover. You know, if I can avoid it.
actually if, I yeah, okay, an acquaintance I knew years ago, uh he went through chemo, and then after he about his cancer, it got Lyme disease, and he made the literal comparison of it felt the same as being on chemo.
Yeah. Oh wow. That sounds great. What a lovely
Yes,
experience after you're like in remission.
exactly. So I was just like, ooh, it's like, yes. So it's like I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. I was just like, oof, oof. And
Oh,
also,
thank you.
as far as like diseases right now goes, uh, apparently in the local news here, apparently wasting deer wasting disease or whatever, like the
Yeah,
brain spot the prion disease has made its way up here in my corner. It's just like, oh, that's nice.
we're so lucky that we don't have like a lot of like animal diseases going around because it's like like when you're in the US, or I think also Canada, like if you hunt boar hogs, you often you often have to like waste all the meat because they're so diseased. That
Yeah,
like I'm so glad ours are. I mean, they're like hogs, so they're filthy animals, but like relatively clean. You can basically eat every one of them.
yeah, it's not gonna last forever. I don't know. As far like I don't go hunting. I have my guns, but I don't go hunting. But I do have a lot of hunter friends and stuff. And yeah, they're kind of worried about the Porean thing with the deer and stuff. Because up until now, the only thing they've really had to worry about for hunting is a bear. Because we have a local dump, and you can't look at a bear and know if it's a dump bear or not,
Mm.
because if they eat garbage, their meat is going to be bad. So you don't know until you kill them, and then you cut them open, and it's like, ah, shit. Well, there goes my tag.
Yeah, and bear meat sort of sucks, anyways.
Yeah, I had it once. It was actually not a dump bear, so it was like a good bear meat, but it was like, oh my god, this is so nasty, greasy.
Yeah, did you have that like I can't remember exactly what the dish is called, but it's like a I think it's from I think it's Chinese. It's like Szechuan Chinese. I think was like you like boil the bear for like 12 hours just to get like the smell and like harsh taste and grease out of it. And it's really good, but it's like such a time investment.
Well, it kind of does make sense. It kind of does make sense because it's like getting rid of the tannin
Yeah,
chestnuts and acorns and shit. So you boil it, you change the water, and wash, rinse, repeat a few times just to get rid of the nastiness until all you end up with is mush.
yeah, and I mean like it's Chinese food as well, so it's a bear. You're probably like, oh, this will help you get a boner or whatever. Like that seems to be like the purpose of all Chinese food at this point.
Yeah, yeah. If they can't eat it, they'll grind it up and snort it.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't know if I'm brave enough to actually enable the equalizer, maybe uh, finagle around a bit with some of the more deeper settings, because literally in uh, Sonar, all I have is literally the AI noise cancellation and the automatic noise gate, and that's it. And it's honestly, if it's good enough, I'm probably just gonna leave it be.
I mean, depends on how adventurous you are. I don't know exactly what you're using, but I guess you're using an Audio Technica 2020, whatever.
I guess.
Like microphone wise, because you use that for the thumbnail.
Oh, the microphone, the AT 2020, the USB one, the plus
Mm.
USB one.
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking about. Well, I was thinking of.
I might have, well, I use it in the thumbnail, so that's probably why you were thinking of it.
Yeah. I'm a, I don't want to be that guy, but like from the microphone you're using, you should be getting higher audio quality.
Well, here's the thing. It was working fine for a while, then it went to shit. But then I have a new uh uh USB splitter right now, and I have it plugged into that, and it's working fine. Everything's cool, and like I'm testing recordings and like Audacity and stuff, and like just doing little tweaks of like, okay, do I fix this? Do I fix that? And it's like I, I don't know if I'm like tone deaf or something, whatever, because it usually sounds fine to me unless it's like really bad.
Yeah. But the thing is, that's like, I mean, how to put it, like an AT 2020 is like the entry level of professional microphones. I mean,
Yes.
that's like $140, I think, the USB one.
I forget, and I don't want to think about how much I paid for it, but yes.
Yeah, so it's like, that's super weird because I've been actually like been on a audio setup kick recently because I mean, like, I'm using a Rock Band microphone from 2009, and like not Rock Band as in made for rock and roll. I mean Rock Band as in the Harmonix game from 2009. So I think I want to upgrade at least a bit from that.
Yeah. Well, given my trials and tribulations, it's kind of come down to I don't think the microphones mean shit. It's honestly what software you're using in the settings of said software. Honestly, seems to be the be all end all of the audio question.
Well, I'd have to disagree. Like, mm, I mean, like, at like $50 for a microphone, that's when you start getting like good audio. But if a $50 microphone is going, a good one is going to be an XLR microphone. USB is a lot more comfortable, but USB microphones are always worse, unfortunately.
Yeah, as time has gone on, I've come to to come to agree with this that USB is very dodgy when it comes to for audio.
Yeah, and you know what? Like one thing that I just realized like recently. Wonder if your microphone is picking up its self noise.
No, because I've actually had this problem happen before when I was because Sonar has a built-in record and playback function, and I encountered that issue using it. But
Okay.
that's limited to just that software when I was using it because when I uh, record in like OBS or Audacity and stuff, I have my earphones in, and there's nothing coming out of my speakers, so there should be no feedback loop.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, because well, you probably know then that like USB mics have extra self noise just because their like audio card is inside of it, so it like has to make some noise when it's running. But
This I
I just thought about it because I found my like old how I hate not speaking English natively sometimes. I like have equipment for checking plugs in industrial piping with a sonar. That probably is called something in English that I don't know, but I like
I
encountered that problem before, so I thought that might be it.
I am aware of the tool you speak of, but the name eludes me as well.
Yeah, yeah. I have no idea what it's called in English.
The point has gotten across, so we're
Thank
fine.
you.
Yeah, I don't know, cause when I was having my issues, I was talking with fucking YT, the fucking YT, and his main hobby slash passion is audio engineering and music and stuff. So he tried to help me with a bunch of this stuff, and we got to the point where it was just like shrug our shoulders and like black magic, who knows?
And like technical issues really suck because it's if you're just a little bit like stubborn and hard headed, you never want to give up on them because there's always like a logical solution to it. When the easy solution is probably like, oh, you change microphone or whatever. But of course, you don't want to do that because that's like a nice microphone and everything.
Well, here, but it seems to be working okay now, and I'm not looking to be audio fidelity 100% Mr. Guy and stuff because like literally when I bought this, it was at the start of the pandemic, and I bought it for teleconferencing. I was like like a most popular microphone market right now, and it's like this one. I was like, okay, fine, good.
Yeah, like usually trend chasing when it comes to microphones is a bad idea, but like the fact that the Audio Technica 2020 is trendy. That's like a really, an actually really good trend because it's a really good microphone for the price. It's like super money to value ratio.
Well, yeah, that's why I got it and stuff.
Yeah,
But I don't know. It having issues it's kind of weird. It's like an old TV and stuff. It works most of the time, but when it craps out, it fucking craps out.
yeah. Just because you said that, started thinking like, how Europe has different. We used to have like our TVs were slightly higher resolution but lower frame rate.
Yes.
Yes, I remember when I got my GameCube, we had a 70s TV I plugged that into, and the one game that didn't run in 50 hertz was Legend of Zelda Collection. They had like all the. I got Wind Waker, and then it had all the previous games basically on like a second disc. And since it was 60 hertz, I remember playing that, and it couldn't render green. So I thought Link was brown for several years because he was rendered in brown.
Okay, this is funny to me.
It was really stupid. It was like it was so confusing. Like when I looked at art of him, I was like, wow, why is he green? He should be brown, like on my TV. Like, what is this?
I don't know. I remember uh since I when I was a kid, we had like the old CRTs, but the only input was the RF connection and stuff. So I had I still had the little RF connector for my NES, my SNES. But when I got the N64 and stuff, I kind of sold off my old consoles to have enough money to pretty much my parents didn't get me it outright, so they kind of just had like, here's a bunch of money, you pool up your own money, you can get it. It's like, okay, fine, whatever. So when I got the N64, I was like, great, got the N64, and then I open it up, and the connector is composite, and I didn't have a composite TV, and I was like, no. So I had to go out of town on the next out of town trip, and we went to Walmart and had to save up an extra $20 to get the standalone RF connector.
Yeah, we also had to do some like kludge with some sort of adapter because it also, I guess the GameCube was also composite. I think like SCART. I don't know if we had a different standard than the North America had, but ours was called SCART. I think that's composite.
I Yeah, like I am familiar with the SCART protocol and stuff. But I forget if it's comparable to composite or not, because I know it is its own standard.
Yeah, and that was like the standard. There were like 3 plugs or whatever put in the backside
Yeah.
of the TV.
Wait, no, wasn't SCART kind of like it looked like an old printer thing where it's like a bar of connections.
Maybe that was SCART. Because
I'm
yeah, like the really big one that looks they had like all the golden connectors in it, like on like DVI has.
Yeah, yeah. It looked like a long narrow like
Look,
VGA kind of thing.
it looked sort of like the muzzle of a vacuum cleaner.
Yes, yes, that's exactly what it looked like.
Yeah, maybe that was SCART then. Yeah,
Yeah, that
yeah,
was SCART. Yeah, yeah. Composite is the yellow, red, white, bronze.
yeah. That's composite. Okay.
Yeah, I know my connection formats. They're obsolete now.
Yeah. It was actually it was actually sort of stupid. Like I brought home my Xbox 360 like last year that I had left at my parents' house, and So I plugged it into my TV, and of course I did it with HDMI because that's the standard now.
Yeah.
And that's when I realized I had been playing on an Xbox 360 for for like the first 3 years I had that thing. I was playing that in standard definition. 'Cause I didn't have HDMI, and my TV was HD ready, but I plugged it in via composite. So I actually had an Xbox running at 480p for 3 years.
Uh, yeah. Yeah. I think we've all been there for one thing or another. Like I remember, oh, what was, yeah, because I remember when the format wars for high definition was taking place and stuff. My mom, on more than one occasion, would buy my sister a HD DVD
HD.
but they just still had a regular DVD player, so she would get the HD DVD, and it's like, why doesn't this play? Because it's not the correct format.
I've never even seen an HD DVD.
I saw a few of them and stuff, but eh, eh.
I think Blu-ray won the format wars at launch here. I don't even think I've seen a HD DVD for sale.
Oh yeah, yeah. HD DVD died a fast death. Honestly, that particular format war should have never made it to market.
No, because HD DVD was like slightly higher quality at the time, I think.
No, I don't know about quality, but Blu-ray had the larger disc capacity. No ifs, ands, or buts. The Blu-ray had the higher disc capacity, so it was, in my opinion, it was destined to win on that metric alone.
Yeah, hell yeah. Dude, I used to I had a job where I had to work the night shift, and we could watch like movies freely, and it was like a I did work 12 or 14 hours night shift. So it was like, okay, we have to watch movies so we don't like kill each other while we're on watch.
Yeah.
And where I worked, internet connections were strictly forbidden. Like we like blocked out Wi-Fi and everything. So we had to have physical media. So I had to burn pirated copies of movies legally. Of course, they were backup copies. I had all the DVDs. The beginning, of course, so I did not commit a crime. I was simply making a backup copy, and I did not show it in public, so no crime was committed. But I had to like burn so many goddamn DVDs, and as soon as you got a film that was just a little too long, a little too big, I was fucking suffering. I had to buy those stupid double-sided DVDs. So goddamn expensive. I fucking
I re
hated them.
Yeah, yeah, because I remember when like a double-sided optical disc were a thing for a while until dual layer uh
You know,
formatting came to became mainstream.
yeah, it
Because
was.
I remember disc flipping. Like I never had a Blu-ray player, not Blu-ray, laser disc. I never had laser disc. I was aware of it at the time of having to flip the disc. I was aware that was a thing.
Yeah, I have watched Laserdiscs, but like infinitesimally small market here, like non-existent, basically.
Well, yeah, it was always a niche elite format. So, but it actually lasted a lot longer than people think. And honestly, the modern home media, the home video ecosystem wouldn't exist without Laserdisc pioneering it. Just like the culture and the techniques and stuff.
Yeah, I was like the fact that like Laserdisc lived on through karaoke machines.
Yes.
It's like it's a really funny because it lived like a lot longer than people think. But it's like last VHS was the last VHSs were produced in like 2010s still. So I mean, there's always somewhere a market.
Well, the well again, Japan.
Yeah. Yeah, of
Japan
course.
will always have a death grip on the old technology, and by golly, they're not going to let it go for anything. Let's be real. That's
Like,
what it comes down to.
funnily enough, two other big important economies would use VHSs a real long time, and that's Germany and Italy. Which, that's a funny combo, three countries right there.
Yeah, they tend to get along on a lot of different things, don't they?
And because that's like I think like Germany also did the shit with fax machines as like a big thing. I mean, companies still have faxes because it's that thing where like, oh, agreements are more valid if you get a physical copy or whatever. But like Germany was also really big on fax machines a really long time.
I don't know. There's still places in Canada that are about fax machine. I'm just like, can I scan it and email it to you? It's like, no, we'll only accept the fax signed copy. And it's just like, okay, fine.
I remember my dad buying a fax machine because he had his own company. And I think he used it a grand total of 2 times, and both times were to himself to test it. That was a really valuable purchase, that one.
I don't know. I'm just thankful that as small as my town is, there is a print shop here, and they do have like pay a couple bucks that you can send a fax. So thank God.
Yeah, well, they're a little nicer here. You can send things in, you can scan things in emails and stuff.
Well,
Except the police. Police, you can't do anything in email. You have to send them letters, handwritten letters, and they send it to the farthest north in the country because they did like a. I'm like extra annoyed from this because when I was a teacher, you have to get like your crime registry. You have to every
your
time you
back,
seek employment, you have to go
yeah,
like,
your
oh, you're
background
not
check,
like,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, you have to prove you're not just a kid toucher. You're also a teacher. You have to prove have to prove that you're somewhat legit. And you have to handwrite a letter to the police every time. And it takes 2 weeks for it to arrive. And you have to you send it to the farthest north real city in all of Sweden, in Kiruna. There's like, I think Kiruna is like 5,000 people. And it's basically entirely mining and the fucking police office that has to check every letter. And they never, I have such bad handwriting, they can never read my handwriting. So it's another 2 weeks to check my handwriting. And like, worst experience ever. You can't send them emails. They do not respond. They do not accept them. Worst fucking system ever. I just got pissed off thinking about talking about fax machines. God.
My equivalent for that was when I registered to be a professional geoscientist, dealing with the association and stuff. I was like, can I email you a picture of my driver's license and passport and stuff like this? It's like, no, it
Okay.
has to be a fax. It has to be a fax, and you have to sign it at the bottom. I'm like, fuck.
Okay. Do you have at least like adequate handwriting?
Yes, I really hate handwriting, especially since my left hand has nerve damage, and
Yeah.
that's my writing hand. So, but I learned cursive as a kid and stuff, but I never liked cursive. So I always just write and print.
When I was like, I think I might have been the last the last year to learn cursive in school. And I was so bad at it that my teacher sent a letter to my parents where she was like, I think your son is trying to be funny here because his handwriting is so bad that this has to be on purpose. And I was so bad at it. I was like, they almost sent me to like the retard doctor, see if there was something wrong with me. Couldn't believe that I wouldn't purposefully be this bad at handwriting, but I
I
was.
don't I don't know. I kind of feel you though. I wasn't in special ed, but I was in a remedial reading. Like I actually literally had a one like I was the one kid in my entire grade who had to have a specific reading tutor to learn how to read. But after I got over that hump, I was like I literally think my first book I ever read on my own was like The Hobbit after I learned how to read, and I just went from there.
Yeah, I can't remember the first novel I read, but I do remember the first book I ever read was Nordic myths and stories. That was the first thing I ever read. That was a weird start to life.
You gotta keep up the metal Viking tradition. Start them young.
Yeah, hell, someone has to. Might
Yeah.
as well be me. But I just like I'm stuck on handwriting now. Do you do like when you do like a passport or like ID card? Do you do like the digital? You get like a digital pen and you write in a machine.
Yes.
Yeah, because I remember first time I had to take a passport. It's like you it's like they take 5 photos or something and then you sign your name and it's done. So it's like average time is 4 minutes. I was in the machine for 45 minutes because it would
Jesus.
not recognize my handwriting. And I did it over and over and over and over again. They checked the machine to see if it was wrong. Like that's how poor my handwriting was. The machine couldn't believe it. It couldn't read any letter.
Damn. Damn, son.
I mean, I'm slightly better now, but it's really funny. I was just standing there for like 40 minutes when my dad was like tapping his boots in the floor and was like wanting to leave as quickly as possible. And like 3 police officers are staring at me, wondering what's going on here.
I don't know. Actually, funny story. When the last time I had to update my passport, renew my passport, uh, apparently the secretaries just had lunch. So when they came back in, they forgot to unlock the door. But like when they went back in, I went in right with them, stuff. So no one unlocked the door, so it automatically locked behind us. So while they were serving me, there was a couple of people locked outside, and we and me and the passport lady were like, why are they just standing there? And we are like, we couldn't figure it out. But then one of her coworkers went over and it's like, oh, the door's locked. Oops.
Man, yeah, I that was so my passport and like ID card expired, and I was going to like you can only buy alcohol in one single shop in Sweden because it's a state monopoly. So
Of course.
and they have to check your ID every time. So I like go in there, like put out my ID, and they're like, your ID is expired. So I have to go back and like put everything back on the shelf, and I have to like, okay, how do I take a new ID card? Because you're supposed to take your ID card using your passport or vice versa, so they can like here's a legit here's your like ID card, so they can check that you're legit. So I had to call my dad and be like, both my passport and my ID card has expired. Can you drive to my city and prove that I am who I claim I am? So that was also really funny when I had to take a new ID card, and I was actually identityless for 6 months because there were no bookings available due to the coup
Yep.
just having ended. So everyone was taking like passports to go to Ibiza or Mallorca or going to Italy, whatever. I had to wait. I had 6 months. I couldn't do anything that required an ID card. Really good time.
Now, I got the fear of God put in me for keeping my stuff up to date. And so, like, since day one, I've always put like alarms either on my phone or on my computer or somewhere of, all right, this is going to expire in a couple of weeks. Renew it. Mm,
I mean, I just used it so seldomly that I just forgot about it. It's like never use it for anything.
yeah. Well, actually, now that I think about it, I don't think I've ever been carded. I don't think I've ever been carded for like like ID purchases thing. Because here's the thing: since I have Mara fans, I'm like 6'4" and I'm a little overweight, so I look, you know, I look like fucking like Big Show or Lurch or something. So I was like, and I'm usually rocking a big ass like religion of peace beard. So it's just like, all right, here, sir, thanks for coming.
Yeah, I get carded. I get card. I used to get carded buying fucking energy drinks when I was like 25.
Okay, I was aware that getting carded for energy drinks was a thing, but this is the first time, first hand experience I've heard of it. Okay, this is wild.
Yeah, like I looked really young. It looked like I was like 16 at 25. So that's they would card me for everything. It was always super embarrassing as well because like, oh, fucking cashier is like 10 years younger than me. And she like sees my ID card and like, oh, you don't need to be carded. I'm like, yeah. Yeah, I know. I haven't needed I shouldn't have been carded for like 10 years now, but some things never change, I guess.
I don't know. I don't know. Double-edged sword. I started going gray in my early 30s, but it's not like a lot of gray. It's literally just that around my ears and like my upper cheeks and my beard and stuff. So I got like the distinguished, like the distinguished gray look.
Gentlemanly gray.
Yeah, I got the gentlemanly gray really early on, and it hasn't really spread since. And I'm not losing my hair, so like I look like a middle-aged man, like in my 30s, and it's kind of been just like a holding pattern since.
Yeah, I look like a young man despite being almost 30.
Yeah, yeah, the good times don't last forever. And I tell you what, I tell you what,
Mm. Yeah.
it's taking everything I have right now not to open up Path of Exile and just run maps while talking. I think I might
I
have a
got
problem.
addicted.
Well, ARPGs have always been my thing as far as games go. Like they're my game, and I, like I said before, and I'll say again, I hate the company. I hate it. Okay, I've finally been able to rationalize this. It's like Magic the Gathering. I love the game. I love Magic the Gathering. I love Path of Exile. I hate the companies that own them.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes something you love gets taken by a company you absolutely do not love. That's just, I mean, it's a unfortunate fact of life, I guess.
Yeah. Well, it's always been the case. Okay, it's always been the case. Like things have always been shit. Things have always been good and stuff. But it's the levels of extreme that are on display nowadays is what's insufferable. Cause, cause,
Yeah.
cause no one's pretending anymore. Like no one's putting on the mask of like, okay, I gotta put on a good face for like the customers, or like you know, pretend to care about the community instead of like, no, you're just my little pay piggies. Pay up, and drink up the goy slop.
I'm like, very glad I'm such a insufferable hipster. I never really liked a lot of those like a lot of the popular franchises that people are pissed about now because like I don't like Magic Gathering. I never liked Blizzard games. Uh, don't like everything that Activision sucks up. Don't really have any interest in. EA never like really killed anything I cared about. I mean, except Dead Space Studio, of course. I don't like
Of course.
that was a really bad one. But like basically nothing else. So
I kind of agree to a certain point. Like, I'm not a chaser. Like, I don't care. But what I like a lot, and I tend to like a lot for a long time. Like, I've been playing Magic since like damn near since it first came out and stuff, and that's never going away. No matter how much it sucks, I'm still gonna play it because it's my crack. And same thing with like ARPGs and stuff. Like nothing's ever going to catch the lightning in the bottle that is Diablo 2, but there are
no.
a few that come close, and I like playing them.
Yeah, I mean, like I did really like Diablo 2. and like I played 3 and it was such a slog. It was so boring. And like Path of Exile truly is like the real Diablo 3 or whatever. But
Well,
yeah,
again, Path of Exile is probably the best Diablo style ARPG of all time. I would argue that's even better than Diablo 2. Just like gameplay options, mechanics, every like the whole kit and caboodle. It's the best the genre has ever been. And whether or not they're going to top it in when Path of Exile 2 comes out next year ish, maybe TM, who knows?
yeah. Ah, like I mean, honestly, Path of Exile could like sort of like set the standard for a lot of stuff. Like it had an actual alpha, an actual beta. It actually released. It has it has actually like improved a lot. Like all the multiplayer stuff that barely was there when I played it, they have now. Like all the leagues and stuff. I really like that.
Yep.
But like I'm so and actually the monetization model as well. The fact that as far as I know, it's still stash tabs and cosmetics. Which, I don't trust Path of Exile 2 with that one bit. It's going to be fucking loot boxes 100%. Like, I
Oh,
zero
yeah.
trust for that one.
Yeah, because here's the thing: Path of Exile 1 was developed by Grinding Games, like whatever and stuff. But then Tencent came along, and that's the thing now. Tencent owns them lock, stock, and barrel and stuff. So I am not looking forward to the actual Path of Exile 2 implementation. And they're saying like, "Oh, we'll keep maintaining Path of Exile 1." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, we'll see how long that lasts."
Yeah, I mean, I can like, like Tencent it's not stupidly run. You can give them that at least. So I can't believe that they will like maintain Path of Exile 1 and like not fuck with it. Like they won't add microtransaction whatever to it. But surely they're going to like a lot of the multiplayer stuff is probably going to disappear over time. And I just have zero trust in Path of Exile 2. Like that's 100% going to be super bad. Also, since it is Tencent that owns it now, I am looking forward to having like egregious, strange Chinese stuff show up everywhere. Like that is going to happen, and that's going to be so fucking funny when it's like, oh, Act 4 is the Chinese zone, blah blah blah. That's 100% going to happen.
I know, because like I've told the story before. When Tencent became 51% share owner of the company and stuff, that literally happened. I shit you not,
Yeah,
on the day
overnight.
of yeah, it was literally on the day of the Tiananmen Square massacre, and they banned everyone in global chat who even said it. It was surreal. I really wish I took screen caps and video captures and stuff. Like I wish I was tech savvy enough to do that shit at the time because shit was wild. I stayed up that night just watching shit burn down. It was surreal.
That's probably recorded on like YouTube and stuff. Because
Probably.
that's yeah. I mean, I haven't really had like a franchise destroyed by the Chinese, thankfully. But you always worry because like Tencent is so fucking big. And I know that they've been like taking big losses and stuff, and it was like talk about dissolving almost, I think, like end of last year, beginning of this year, but
No, no,
it's
no.
partially a state enterprise, so
No, no, no. Here's the thing, though. I didn't. I kind of watched over this. I was going to cover it in one of my news articles, but apparently, just this week, the CPP has cracked down even harder, if you can imagine, even harder on
mhm.
the video game companies.
Yeah, okay, okay. It's like them and the Koreans are both doing that.
Yeah. So, from the article I read, they're cracking it down so hard on it and stuff. They honestly I I don't think it's not off at the table that the CPP might literally dissolve as an entity, Tencent and NetEase.
I mean, God, I hope.
I am praying to fucking God that actually does happen. I'm like, I
Like,
am so hard right now. Please do not blue ball me on this. Kill
yeah,
them.
like getting rid of the Chinese on Steam would be such a win.
Yeah. So honestly, I'm rooting for Z right now. I'm like, dude, yes, video games are totally corrupting the youth. Yes, please, please pull that trigger. God, please.
I did enjoy when they said like, "Oh, K-pop is too gay. K-pop is now banned." That was really funny.
Or the time I think they might even still do this where they censor blood with white. Like people will say that that was like a joke. It's like no, they literally chroma
Yeah,
key white out the gore. They're so lazy for censorship. All they do is they chroma key red out and replace it with white.
yeah, and their fear of skeletons as well is really funny.
That's
Like when they
always been the stupidest thing for me because
yeah, I
it's
don't
not.
understand it.
No, it's not even it's not even a Chinese thing. It's not a Chinese thing. It's a communist China thing. So here's the logic behind it.
Uh,
So it's
uh, it's like I have like studied religion, you know, in university and stuff, and it is I think it's like an old, if I remember correctly, it's like an old ancestor worship thing because you used to like, you know, you could have
it
your ancestor like sitting by your farm and stuff. So
well
it's like, oh,
it is
skull is a living skeleton is like disrespecting your ancestors. I think it's
well
something like
it
that.
is kind of an ancestor worship thing, but here's the kicker. That mentality got co-opted by the CPP, and the reason why it got co-opted by the CCP, I keep fucking up the acronym. The reason why it got co-opted was because the Communist Party does not like the concept of something coming to an end. It has to be the perpetual in eternity. The party has to exist. It always existed and will always continue to exist. And the concept of that there has to permeate through everything, or else like the lie falls apart, kind of thing.
I mean, that's also like a really generally Chinese thing as well, given all the, internal alchemy, really famous Shi Huangshi, first emperor, drinking mercury, trying to prolong his life.
Yep.
They're really afraid of death in China.
It's kind of funny given how cheap their life is. So it kind of does
Yeah.
make sense the longer you think about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, it's really funny when you study history and it's like, oh, the fucking, the Heavenly Fist rebellion and shit. They're like, oh, 40 million people dead. I'm like, oh, wow. that's a that's a nice number. It's like, oh, basically World War II's like most of World War II's casualty numbers in one civil war. Wow, that's
Yeah.
impressive. You're really good at killing each other.
I'm kind of annoyed because one of the electives I took in university was East Asian Studies. Unfortunately, the professor elected to totally focus on only Mongolia, which was interesting. Don't get me wrong; Mongolia has an interesting history and stuff, but it was literally the Mongolian history in the period of uh, the Cold War, effectively to the modern time. So Cold War to modern time, and effectively it was like Mongolia being the shared pawn of Soviet Russia and the communist Chinese.
Yeah, but it wasn't specifically East Asian studies in modern times or anything, right?
No, no modern time, no ancient time. It was literally just a long running case study of like different individual case studies of uh, post World War II Mongolia.
That's the risk when you're doing like history stuff in universities. A lot of professors with like very certain pathology where they really hyper focus on one little thing and make it their specialty and they can't talk about anything else, almost like there's something psychological behind it.
Well, I came to the conclusion towards the end that like I wanted to take Japanese as a language elective, but it was clashing my geology courses, so I took the Mandarin Chinese, and I very quickly realized that the guy teaching it, he's a white guy, but his wife was Chinese, and I'm pretty sure he was taking money under the table by from the CPP because he was all about Chinese culture, and he was part of the I forget what they're called, like the Chinese education.
Yeah, Yeah, I was
Jeez.
actually gonna ask that, like, I think it's the Confucius
Yeah,
Society or
yeah,
yeah.
the Confucius Society and all those organizations and stuff. And I'm like, oh, you are a useful idiot. You are a whitey useful idiot. Okay, I understand now.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, my university, like I own it, but the university I went to had lots of Chinese students, and like they had the Confucius Society as well because it's a state apparatus. They check, they make sure people don't stray too far when they're in a freer land. And I remember they had like fucking political officers
I know,
rounding up the Chinese and like
I know.
interrogating them and stuff. It was so
No,
fucking weird.
no. Here's the thing: we had that too, and we still have that there too. And a lot of my friends actually in university were Chinese because my first year in university, I was in an international foreign residence and stuff,
Mhm.
and we hung out and played Diablo 2 all the time. So we got along just fine. But the thing was, like they hated the CPP, but they were so squirrely about it. And it's like, yeah, it's like, they came from China, so it's like, yeah, and we have those officers running around and stuff. So it's like, yeah, we hate the party, but we can't really talk about it or do anything. So it's like, yeah, I understand.
Yeah, I mean, like they're not afraid to use that either because it's like, okay, grandma is getting executed if you don't do what we say. It's like, okay, whoa, whoa, I better obey you, Mr. Officer. It's like they are insane, and it's so fucking disgusting that it's allowed to go on as well because the same people who will whine about whatever other foreign influence are completely okay with that fucking Confucius society running around.
Well, yeah, that's always been kind of like the thing. It's like, like I'm the white devil, but it's okay when the yellow devil does it. Oh, okay.
Mhm. Yeah, it was. I remember some professors were like, they were like protesting some fucking libertarian club or whatever. The professors were like, "This is a CIA operation. We cannot allow this foreign influence to run unchecked on our university." And I'm like, Miss Professor, you were taking money from the fucking German Democratic Republic in the 70s. I don't think you can't run around talking about foreign influence here. This is ridiculous.
I'm sure that must have burned her ass.
Yeah, burned my grades as well, but maybe it was worth
Yes, that was the implication of the statement. Thank you.
it. Yeah.
uh, I'm trying to think. Other than my Chinese prof, I don't think I had any terribly political teachers. Again, I mostly took sciences for courses and stuff, so they're just like we
I
don't
was-
care, just got to get course load done. Let's get the fucking work. Go.
yeah, I mean, I only did social science stuff, so you know, certain ideologies are a bit more popular in the social sciences. Let's just say.
That's just how it goes. I know. I know.
Yeah, we had like when we had what's it called? Kunskapskurs. Like how to teach. I guess pedagogy. I guess
Okay.
we had one professor, and she had been really big in like the whole free Nelson Mandela bullshit in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
So she would like invite South African teachers over so they could teach us how to teach diverse students because South Africa is the rainbow nation and oh they're so good at this. And that was like what are we doing? I mean like the teachers themselves, I mean, they were like nice nice African ladies with like towels wrapped around their heads and everything. I mean, I'm sure they were great at it, but it was so ridiculous. It was like sweating like, should I bring up the Boers? Should I bring up the fact that 50% of your country is on welfare? Should I bring up the fact that you have regular blackouts? Is that what happens in a rainbow nation? It's like I don't think
Uh,
this was
Well,
appropriate.
Well, yeah, it's a rainbow as long as you don't include the color white. But I
Yeah.
remember, I forget what courses it was, but I was walking between. Yeah, I had one course on one end of the building and a course at the other end of the building, and the quickest way to get there was cutting through the quote unquote studies section.
Mm.
So I would run the gauntlet of like the African studies, the women's studies, and the native studies, and blah blah blah. And
Wow.
I overheard so much shit walking to and from my courses and stuff. And I swear to God, I wanted to pipe up so often, but I was like, nope, keep my head down, keep my mouth shut, and just get from point A to point B and get on with my day.
Yeah. I mean, I walked by like it was, there was like a course on the Sami or something, and that was, I'm going to use a professional term here. That was the gayest shit I've ever heard. Like it made the fucking theater students look straight. It was like in, absolutely insufferable. It was like almost,
Just a reminder, we're on Odyssey, so you can cut loose. I'm not going to judge you.
yeah, yeah, but you know, try to keep myself slightly civilized at least.
I know it's kind of one of those things like, hey, I can drop n bombs left, right, and center, but it's kind of one of those I don't want to build up bad habits kind of thing.
No. And does Discord allow N bombs? You know, they are
Are they?
listening.
I know they're listening, but nigger. There.
Uh oh. The
Hmm.
furry mafia is gonna hear that one.
I don't care. I really don't care at this point.
Yeah. You get kicked off Discord, you have to start using Ventrilo again.
I'm okay with that.
Or TeamSpeak. That's the two I remember.
I'm pretty sure there's a few open source uh like comparable programs to Discord floating around nowadays. I just don't look for them anymore since I'm kind of just comfortable using Discord. I'm sure they're probably out there.
Yeah, and they're probably fine, you know, everything. Problem is that they have a user base of 13 people.
That's always the rub. That's the rub.
That's like the Discord and Twitter have the same thing where like people can hate it however much they want, but they will never leave because everyone is there.
Yep. That's the thing. I'm quietly playing Magic right now, and I'm totally getting my ass handed to me.
Okay. You know,
Uh,
I've only played Magic the Gathering like 4 times because I don't enjoy it. Because I was a Yu-Gi-Oh kid, but I had to stop playing Yu-Gi-Oh when all the summoning stuff became so complicated I couldn't keep up anymore.
well, my friend was big into Yu-Gi-Oh, and he tried his damnedest. He really did. Tried his damnedest to get us to play Yu-Gi-Oh, and like again, I grew up in Magic, so I learned the rule set and played fine and stuff. It's just like it's it's such a broken game.
Yeah, and
Fundamentally,
it's really,
it's a broken game. That's all I can say about it.
I mean, the problem is like all the summoning stuff is too complicated now, and every card has like a paragraph of text. It's like it's too much. The old cards, it's been power creeped so incredibly. It's like I really don't like that actually. I think it's really annoying that Yu-Gi-Oh went from a game that a bunch of 8-year-olds on my schoolyard with like substandard English could play. Now it's like impossible for a 30-year-old to play it at all. And like I tried playing the what's it called, like Battle Decks or Battle Arena, whatever, the one that came out
Yeah.
last year or the year before, I can't remember. And it has all the fucking cancer from the regular tabletop game now. It's so impossible to play. Like you like fucking chain summon like 20 cards in a row. It's so boring. It's impossible to play.
Well, some of my favorite episodes from If the Emperor Had a Text to Speech Device are literally the Yu-Gi-Oh episodes. Those are fucking hilarious.
Haven't seen those.
Oh,
I
you
stopped.
you should. They like the creators don't really know how to play Yu-Gi-Oh that much. They kind of just like ask their friends like, okay, does this joke work, kind of thing stuff. So if you were to really nitpick it, it's like this doesn't work, but it's like whatever, it's still funny.
I think Alpha Busa knows how to play Yu-Gi-Oh! I think he was a Yu-Gi-Oh player actually. I think he
I
might
can't.
be he might be the same as me, where he used to know how to play Yu-Gi-Oh, but he can't do it anymore. I think that might be it, actually. Now that I think about it.
Ah, this the Swedish national pastime, Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, my generation at least, that was the card game to play. I mean, either that or Magic, of course. But like, I think Yu-Gi-Oh was legit bigger for a while at least, because that was one everyone played. Everyone played Yu-Gi-Oh. No one played the Pokemon trading card game, but everyone played Yu-Gi-Oh.
That's always the Pokemon thing is always weird to me and stuff, and the metrics do bear this out. Is most people collect the Pokemon cards, but as far as
Yeah.
playing goes, good luck.
The problem here was the fact that Yu-Gi-Oh came in. You could buy the like theme decks from for there was like a character in the anime,
Yeah,
and they came with a rule book. There was no Pokemon like sets available when I grew up, so we never had the rules, and you didn't get the play mat as well. Now that I think about it, you didn't get the play mat as well. Every Yu-Gi-Oh set that was themed had a play mat, so you knew where to put your cards. The Pokemon, we didn't have any play sets for Pokemon, so you didn't get the rules and you didn't get the play mat, so nobody knew what to do. I
the
think that
more
was that was the problem here at least.
the more I think about it, I think that was the same problem for us too. Because like I was the Pokemon guy as far as the card game goes, and I tried to get my friends to play it and stuff, and just wouldn't take because again the rules. No, like I had like the one rule book that came in like the starter pack, but then it's like no playmats or anything, and it's just like eh.
Yeah, I actually bought like a theme. So I accidentally bought two sets of it's like it's one of those like starter sets where you get two theme decks for Pokemon. I accidentally bought two because I was buying one for a younger relative, and I accidentally bought two, put two at the register, and I paid for them. And I realized, oh, I have two, so I'm going to keep one. So I actually played Pokemon very late in life, and it's actually a pretty fun game.
It's
But it's a little
okay.
bit unbalanced because like when you get a win, when you as soon as you knock out like the first Pokemon from your opponent, you basically always win when you if you draw first
Yes.
blood.
Yes, this has always been a problem with the Pokemon card game is that it's very momentum based. If you build up momentum, like you will win. That's the thing.
Yeah, which sort of matches the games actually, but not always a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we talked about playing tabletop RPGs before, and it's the same thing playing card games. It's just so difficult to get people together.
Well, that's kind of always been the case, but it's gotten worse with time. I'll say that much.
Yeah, I think card games here in Sweden, like of course, like outside of Stockholm, outside of Gothenburg or
Yeah.
Malmö, the big three cities. I think it's probably, unless you're playing Magic, you're not going to get a game ever unless you're in very specific circumstances. I think tabletop might actually be easier to play by now than card games, just because fucking Critical Role popularized D&D, and that
Uh,
actually took a year as well.
yeah. I know. Even my little podunk town where I'm at right now, they had a card shop that lasted like 2 years, and I was like, "Wow, you actually survived." I was surprised they even existed, and it's just like it lasted as long as it did because this is a small town. So I'm just like, "You're not gonna survive long term." I tell you, it's like I talked with like the owner when I first moved here and stuff. It's like, "So how's business going?" Not good. And it's like, "Yeah, I kind of figured as much."
Yeah, like sometimes you see discussion about, the LGS, the local game shop, and those are like they pop up from time to time because someone is passionate and want to make their hobby into their job because they have something else successful going, but they never stick around.
Yeah, like one of the YouTube channels I watch is Alpha Investments, and Rudy is a magic guy, but his background is in business and stuff, and he doesn't pull his punches. And like, look, you're an idiot to open up a game store in like the
Yeah.
last 10 years. If you open a game store in the last 10 years, you're a fucking moron.
Yeah, I mean, like I have one local game store, and when I say local, I mean I have to drive 1.5 hours to get to it. That's the most local game store to me. And the dude who owns that, he does a really good job, and I know it's actually a profitable game store and everything. So he's actually got it, and he like imports actually imports like manga and stuff as well because he's a big weeaboo.
Good for him.
But like when he dies, what's gonna happen with that?
It's gonna die with him. You know it.
Yeah, I mean that really sucks. And he's like, he looks like the most stereotypical like nerd dude ever. Like he's a super skinny, like sickly looking dude with huge Coke bottle glasses and balding, and like I mean, that fucker might die like tomorrow. He looks a bit unwell. So like he doesn't like have any family or anything. Also very stereotypical, I guess. So I don't know what will happen with that, and we don't really have any chains. I know like the UK has the Games Workshop has their chains. And there's probably something in the US that I don't know about.
I don't think there's any
But we
specific
don't have-
chains in America. Like, there's a lot of independent stores, honestly. Yeah, no real chains. Because, like, the closest chain we have is, funny enough, Games Workshop. That's the only one I can think of.
Okay, oh, I just assumed there was like one chain or something, but I guess there is none.
I'm trying to think. I want to say there's one, but nothing's coming to mind.
Wizards of the Coast don't run any stores or anything, right?
No, every local game store, that they would be affiliates, kind of thing. So, like, if you run Friday
Franchise.
night, yeah, yeah. Well, not really, not even a franchise. If you want to run Friday Night Magic, you have to be, sanctioned by Wizards to run their tournaments, and you can get some of their products direct from distributors and stuff. But it's not a Wizard store.
No, well, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, because yeah, that's what it is.
I really, I mean, it's like sort of inevitable as well, I guess, when everything moves to the internet. That's like that stuff dies because you have to compete in prices, and it's like board games and stuff isn't really. It's not like you can buy like, oh, I'll buy 2,000 copies of Dungeons and Dragons and I'll get a really good price for it because I buy in bulk and I can resell it real cheap. It's not really that kind of business. You're not selling building materials. You're not selling fucking farm equipment.
Well, Hasbro is hemorrhaging money left, right, and center, and the only thing that's keeping them, literally, the only sector that's keeping Hasbro afloat is Wizards of the Coast.
Hope they lose all their money. Fucking
I,
hate Hasbro.
I hate Hasbro, and I hate modern Wizards of the Coast. So honestly, I hope the whole ship goes down. I want it to burn. I do legitimately want it to burn because either Magic and Dungeons and Dragons either needs to die and be reborn, or it just needs to die. Because right now, all it is both of them, both the brands are just zombies right now at this point.
Yeah, sort of weird to think that Dungeons and Dragons is so popular, but it's so dead as well. And like everything that adapts to fifth edition is such a such a boring game.
Yeah,
I guess I wonder if the movie will keep them afloat for a while longer because that was actually successful.
I honestly doubt it.
Yeah, I hope not. But, you know, good things don't always happen, unfortunately.
Eh, stranger things have happened.
Mm.
It just dawned on me. What time is it in Sweden now?
4 a.m., but I go to sleep really late because I have a work from home job, and I'm also on holiday.
Okay, that makes sense because it's like I swear to God, you keep weirder hours than I do.
Yeah, yeah. I wake up at 12 and I go to sleep at 6.
Huh?
Not entirely my choice, unfortunately, but you know, when you work a weird job, that happens.
This is fair.
Yeah. And now it's like I'm also like an insomniac, so I have to be like dead tired before I can even sleep at all. So I have to be up late. I can't sleep otherwise.
I have a love hate relationship with sleep, both because of my IBS and my GERD. It's either one or the other. I swear to God.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it. I love sleeping, but I can only sleep 6 hours. I wake up automatically almost every time. It's like would like to sleep longer.
Come to
Due to
think of it,
work and due to
I come
myself
to
is not.
yeah, come to think of it, I think that's my range. My range is like 4 to 6 hours. Anything more or anything less, I tend to shut down.
Yeah, like this this Christmas Eve, me and my family got really drunk and we played board games well into the wee hours of the night.
Good times.
Mm. Yeah, but that was like one of the only times I have slept for like more than 10 hours in a really long time because I think I slept for 12 hours afterwards. I was fucking mangled. And actually, my one of my cousins was over and brought their kids with them. I woke up when they were leaving and I scared the living daylights out of one of my cousin's children because I was like fucking zombie rising from the dead. He just ran away, Mark 10. Was so afraid of me. Poor
Oh
little
yeah.
guy.
Yeah. I just had a thought that my mother is the baby of her sisters and stuff, so my cousins were adults when I was a kid, and now the last family. Okay, so my mother passed away last summer, and coincidentally, it was when the family was visiting. So that thing, but
Timing.
yeah. So my cousin's kids are old enough to have kids now. That was kind of a little wake up call for me. I'm just like, well, beyond my mother passing, but seeing that my cousin's like, it's like, oh yeah, one of them's looking to get married soon. I'm just like, damn, this is weird.
Yeah, my cousins are all about around my age, so they're more like siblings.
I don't think,
And I'm
as far as my family goes, I was a weird thing because I was too old for the younger kids and I was too young for like my cousins and stuff. So it was just like the weird Twilight generation, as it were.
and my family. What's the term? My extended family, guess is the term. It's like really close in age. Like all my uncles and aunts, same age. So like my grandparents, all the grandparents are the same age. All the kids are basically the same age. So we were just like one enormous family instead.
That's nice.
Yeah, yeah, it's really nice. So I get to be the crazy uncle to a lot of kids at the same time.
Well, that's kind of what I ended up being to my cousin's kids was the Canadian uncle, effectively.
Yeah. Well, someone has to be, you know.
well, the funny thing is all that side of the family live in Boston and stuff. So, and they're not the cool Boston like Hershey. They're the progressive, stereotypical Boston's massholes and stuff.
Yeah,
So anytime we be like out in the park hiking and stuff, and they'll be having a conversation and stuff, I'm like, I want to pipe up. That's going to end up being an argument. If I give my true thoughts, it's going to end up a big argument, and I just don't want to deal with it.
yeah. I mean, unfortunately, yeah, you like have to suffer through that.
I'm okay with unit cohesion as a concept and stuff. So it's like, you know what? I'm willing to play along to get along. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, my one of my siblings was sort of like a lefty or whatever,
Yeah.
but I was really lucky because they lived in a shithole city. Then one day, suddenly, they're moving to the suburbs. Oh, they're not living in the downtown anymore. I like go, oh, thought you liked downtown. Thought you liked how multicultural and nice it was. Why did you move? Hmm? What was the problem? Hmm? That was really funny because like there's just no way to deny it. Like if you're like a middle class like hipstery family and you're suddenly moving out of downtown into the suburbs, everyone knows what you're doing. You can talk about good schools however much you want. We all know what a good school means, especially someone who's a teacher knows exactly what a good school is.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. White flight is a concept for a reason, even if they don't want to admit it.
Do you want to know the percentage of foreigners required until white flight takes place in Sweden?
I'm guessing the percentage is not that high.
2%.
I was actually guessing 4 or 5, but I'm not terribly surprised.
As soon as you spot one brown face living on your street, all the Swedes take off. It's like hilarious.
Well, I re-
Voting with your wallet, voting with your feet. You know.
well, well, I remember when I was in high school. Literally, I shit you not, we imported a black kid to play on the hockey team because he was that good and stuff. And that family was literally the first family in the village ever. And they got
Yeah.
stared at so much. It was fucking hilarious.
When I went to primary school, we had two Yugoslavs and one Brazilian and one adopted Asian. That was all the foreigners in my school. Oh, and my art teacher was Italian. That's also Catholic, right? But he was one of the good ones.
Okay, so he was Panko.
Yeah. I mean, he was like unironically great because it was like when you had a birthday. This is how fucking Italian he was. He would actually make pizza for you in his like wood-fired oven that he had built by himself. And he was from a family of pizza makers in Naples. It was like he was such a fucking Italian, that guy.
Was his name Mario?
No, no.
Damn it.
Unfortunately not. That would be really funny, but
Well, it's kind of like you're hitting all the check boxes. It's like, come on, can we go for a hat trick?
yeah, I wish. But he a great guy actually, like really great guy. Taught us how to do like ceramics and stuff because he actually built his own ceramics oven as well. I guess that was the other side of the family. I guess both sides of his family work with ovens. One with pizzas, one with ceramics.
I just had this random thought. So in high school, we had a transferred teacher. Uh, he was called Giovanni. uh,
That's really Italian.
okay, so in high school, we had a teacher move. Like he got married to a Canadian woman and stuff, and he was actually from the Netherlands. And it was so funny. He wanted people to pronounce his name properly, and I was literally the only kid who could pronounce Peter Hoosens. But then everyone was just like Peter Goosens. And
Yeah.
It was just like, come on, guys, it's not that hard. It's like Peter Orphans. It's like
Yeah, like
you don't even have to lean heavy in the accent. It's just like just use this H instead of G, and A instead of E. It's not that hard.
I mean, Dutch is really difficult, even for someone who's like more proficient in it, just because of like relative distance. But yeah, I think we probably had a lot of fun with that. We had a French teacher. I think she did the same thing. Like she married a Swedish guy, so she moved here and became, fittingly enough, a French teacher. Very good. She No, I don't think anyone ever said her name correctly. Not even the kids in the French class. And she was actually like angry enough to stomp in the corridors and like swear about it. She was so pissed. No one could ever say her name.
Uh, I feel kind of bad for laughing and stuff, but that's just the way the world works.
Yeah. I remember I took Russian in high school. I had a Russian teacher. She was like one of the best teachers I ever had. She was like so stereotypically Russian. She like didn't have emotions. She was just like this machine teaching Russian. Like she never smiled for real. She was so fucking cold. That was like she was made of ice. She was like actually a scary woman then.
So she was Russian.
Yeah, exactly.
That's just a long way
Yeah, I
of
mean,
saying she was
yeah, like
Russian.
unironically, like
Yeah.
mm, never want to get involved with a Russian woman ever in my life.
Well, you could just say that for Slavic women in general. Let's be real.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Honestly, yeah, it's not worth it. It's strange people, not really like us.
Not really like us. Uh, I don't know. This has been fun, but you want to call it shortly?
Yeah, sure. We've been going for like hour
We're
45
creeping
minutes.
we're creeping on 2 hours.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like since this was like an audio stream in a way. I mean, you do sound good now. It's not like though that like what was that November when everything like went to shit with the audio.
And
It's like fine now. You know,
yeah,
maybe you'll find something in the settings that will make it even better, or maybe you'll try that like NVIDIA voice stuff. Have you seen that?
I have seen it and stuff, and I don't know. It, like even though I have an Nvidia card and stuff, I think it's not one of the latest cards and stuff because in OBS the drop down options are just the two default ones and not the expanded Nvidia ones. So I don't know.
Mm, okay. I think you have to download a program as well. I think they have like a plugin for OBS or something. But
That probably it, but I don't know. It seems so far that this here sonar thing is working gangbusters, and it's kind of one stop shop for what I need. So you know what?
yeah,
I'm not gonna kick the hornet's nest now if things seem to be calm and quiet now.
yeah, if it works, it works. That's the most important part.
Yeah, again, this isn't my job, even though I don't think I mentioned this. So, to explain my experience gap in my resume right now, I've elected to say content creator in the last few years, just to say I've actually done something instead of just sitting on my ass and being a neat.
Well, a good idea.
Well, it would be honestly easier to explain that than saying I've been just living off of savings right now and just been taking an extended vacation.
Yeah, I mean, they get pissy about that stuff. It's so stupid. It's like,
Well, yeah, that was the thing. I'm just like, I really don't want to have this gap here because like the only other gap in my resume was the '08 crash, and I could say like '08 crash, and this one here I was gonna say like, oh, pandemic, but then quote unquote, but the pandemic is kind of more or less over now, so it's just like, okay, what would be my excuse? So I'm like, you know what, fuck it, I'm just gonna say I've been streaming this entire time. Yeah, what's your channel? Not gonna say.
I just sent you a teeny tiny sliver of Odyssey shitcoin, so you can officially say that you're a professional now. You have gotten paid for your work.
Oh, I thank you.
Yeah, I don't know what you do with them, but you have 0.1 LBC or whatever.
Okay,
Congratulations.
well, thank you. But to explain it, so that is the crypto, but it's not really cryptocurrency. It's more it's literally. I like Odyssey. I like Odyssey because they're using the blockchain properly, and that it is a blockchain, and that is a token. And what you use with it is that it is used from content creators to post things, and you can weigh your post in the search algorithm by putting more coins into it and stuff, and you can move them around. And for viewers, you can boost uh the content you're watching by like you can tie the currency to like likes and posts and stuff like what you did and whatnot, and that will go towards me and this stream in particular and stuff, and it would weigh it that much more in the algorithm, and that's how it works. And I actually do legitimately like how it works. It's a neat system. I actually do like it.
Yeah, would have, I hope Odyssey has like enough money to sustain themselves for a while, because I don't really understand what any kind of like where they would get profit from. So I suppose it's like investment money still.
I would that's the only thing I can think of, because like the library credit is worthless. It is not a cryptocurrency. It's not a speculation thing. So it's serving as its function as intended, as a token and stuff, and not as a investment speculation stuff. That's why I like it, because it's not money. It's worthless.
Yeah, and I mean, and since you can like purchase extra library tokens or whatever, so
Well, you can. That's the thing, though.
oh, you can. Oh shit, I didn't think you could.
No, you can. It, You can, but it's one of those things. You can, but why would you? Because effectively, there are daily and weekly quote unquote quests you can do, as far as like watching videos,
Yeah,
upvoting posts and stuff, and just using the website and stuff. And if you go to your settings under rewards and stuff, you'd be like, oh, you got this many followers, you got this many views, you watch this many videos. Like the main one, honestly, is watch 3 videos a week, hit the random reward, and you can get between zero point 0.1 to 25 library credits. It's a little gamble and stuff, but all you have to do is like watch. You don't even have to watch a full video. I just leave it on mute for like a minute or so, and that's been good enough so far.
I get to like 0.10 a week, so I'm not exactly raking it in library tokens here.
Well, here's the thing. Uh, you could like the up until now, I've used the minimum, the recommended of a 0.01 to make a stream post or a video post and stuff. But I could, if I wanted to, go back and downgrade that to 0.00301 if I wanted to. But but who cares? It's not really. It's like whatever kind of thing.
Well, we got another donation. You got 2 donations now.
Oil Baron War. I don't know why I find this so fucking funny. Uh,
This is like donating in ARS on YouTube.
Uh, well, at least, well, I can't make any currency jokes because I know what it is. But thank you, Sigma Yi. uh, I know. I need to pick up Pippa's audience and stuff and get the Chileans in here.
They want Chileans.
uh,
Maybe we can get Odyssey to promote you as their first official OTuber.
I've actually been creeping. I've actually been watching like I've been trying my hardest to find like a lot of people do have like a lot of YouTube content creators do have Odyssey accounts, but by golly, they are fucking difficult to find because the way the Odyssey search algorithm, like the search function is right now, because you know the fact that the search results are weighted by the token system and stuff. So actually finding legitimately what you want to find is in and of itself actually difficult. That's one little annoyance I have.
Yeah, I've never found anything on Odyssey that wasn't directly linked.
Yeah, that is the problem and stuff. So I'll look at like YouTube content creator like about pages and stuff. Is like, for the love of God, do you have a link to your Odyssey account? Because like I know it exists, and the stars will align. I'll find like one or two. I'm just like, holy crap.
Yeah, unless you're doing like conspiracies or guns, you're probably not going to have an Odyssey account.
Well, that's the thing, because like I'm not banned off of YouTube and stuff. I just don't want to get a second strike kind of thing. And even still, if when the strike runs out, I'm probably not even going to go back. I'll leave the account there as it is and stuff. But uh, I'm just doing this for funsies.
I mean, you should probably multi-stream, just because,
Yeah,
because it is that thing where people have like their platform of choice and they will not move. So
I am aware of this. I am very well aware of this. I am. I probably should look into multi streaming. I really should. I'll probably make a thing of it next week or something.
I mean, it's something to announce as well. Can get attention that way.
I'll make a note. I have my stream file. Look into multi streaming. Have people I'm not really paying super attention to VTubers right now. Have people decided on what's the multi-stream method of choice?
I am unsure of exactly what everyone is using, but I think everyone is using the same thing.
Yes, but what is that thing?
Yes, I do wonder that.
Uh,
The only guy I like what VTuber wise, the only one I watch who multi streams is Niaru. She multi streams on YouTube and Twitch,
yeah, I
and
watch Kirsty and she streams on Twitch and YouTube.
I'm pretty sure they use the same thing since they
Yeah.
know each other and everything, and I know their moderators know each other and such.
Well, my thing the one little hiccup I'm going to have is that the restream program I'll use will have to be able to either have it natively enabled or allow third party access effectively so I could Odyssey use. Because I'm sure most restreams are like Twitch, YouTube, and then it's like a steep drop off of compatibility kind of thing. Is what I imagine.
Yeah, and I mean, it's also that thing with Twitch where I think if you stream on Twitch, you're not allowed to show other chats.
I don't know if that's a site wide thing or if it's just a partner thing.
Yeah, if you have like yeah, like you're an affiliate, maybe you can't do that.
Yeah, because I know there's been back and forth about that over the last couple of years and stuff, but I honestly haven't paid attention, so I don't know offhand.
Because it was, I mean, it was that big thing where it's like, oh, you can now stream to different platforms, but here are all the stipulations for it. And there were, I know there was like
Actually,
debate over the language
no, no,
used.
no. I actually do remember now. So, from Kershey's stream, I do remember her saying, as she is a Twitch content creator, a partner, and she
Yeah,
cannot have YouTube chat on her stream. I know this for a fact.
yeah. I mean, as I said, like the one I watch who multi-streams is Nyaru, and I chatted in the YouTube chat, and she did see it and read it. So she is looking at both chats. Just she can't show the YouTube chat, and she's also a Twitch partner. I'm pretty sure.
Well, yeah, like, let me just go down to window capture on, put away text, window capture, the OBS. Where is OBS? Son of a bitch. Why is OBS not on an option here? Okay, fuck it. We're gonna do this the hard way. Print screen. Save. Quick access. Download. Save screenshot. Turn off window capture. Turn on image. Let's see. Browse. Downloads. Screenshot. Yeah, so uh, here's how it works for anyone who doesn't know. Uh, there's an option called Docs in OBS, and what you can do is you can add in your own custom doc, and that includes chats. So I have like the Odyssey chat as one of my panels, and that's what the V2 that's what the Nyaru and Kersha and the rest of them who have multiple chats open in OBS, because that's what they're reading is chat in OBS as a doc.
Yeah, well, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah. Informative, upvoted.
Well, okay. Funny enough, one of the skill things on the content creator thing I put on my resume was uh, mentoring and the stuff, because I've noticed I do this a lot and stuff, in that anytime I learn something new or come across this new resource or something, I'll post it everywhere. It's like, hey, there's this resource and this is how it works. This is what I do.
So you're an educator. Put that on your CV.
Well, that's effectively what I did as far as my skill notes under that particular entry, and like even my geology entries, I have like have trained personnel to do job kind of thing. So like in literally every single one of those, I have training as one of my skill sets, and it seems to just come natural to me at this point. Honestly, the more I think about it, and I'm sure you appreciate that as a once teacher.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course, teaching teaching someone something is its own reward. Actually, at least
Well,
it's supposed to be.
Well, more in my case, teaching someone is how I reinforce what I learn. That's my thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, it's like you learn by doing, and teaching someone is doing that thing. So
Yes, I'm a big proponent on the teaching via repetition as well.
I mean, they do say that 10,000 hours you learn anything. That's not true, but 10,000 hours doing anything does help a lot.
This is also true. Okay, I'm ready to call it quits.
Yeah, let's call it.
Okay, thanks for coming. I hope everyone had a good time. I know I did. Okay,
Same here.
yeah,
All
it's always fun. It's always fun chatting with you.
Oh, well, good thing you're not tired of me.
I'm not tired of you. I'm just tired with a dot. All right. Good night and take care. Peace.
by fucking SteelSeries.